Once upon a time, there was a very scary town named Halloween Town. It was full of very spooky monsters of all kinds. One of these monsters was Kelly, the jelly. Kelly was big, green, and slimy. She was very scary, even to other monsters. For this reason, poor Kelly didn't have many friends. One chilly day, as Kelly went home after school, she found a very colorful paper on the ground. It was a flyer for the annual Halloween costume party in town. Kelly suddenly felt very excited and had an amazing idea. She would dress up as a different monster for the contest. That way, she would be a different monster for the day, and everybody in town would want to befriend her. But there was one little problem. Because of her body made of jelly, Kelly ended up absorbing everything she touched. In school, she tried on a crown, and she absorbed it. Later, she tried on a hat, and she absorbed it as well. Even the wigs she absorbed. The other monster children in school laughed at her and sang very mean songs at her. Kelly, Kelly, she's a slimy and a smelly, sang Bobby the werewolf.
If you get close to Kelly, you'll end up in her belly,
chanted Victor the vampire. Kelly felt very sad and ashamed when she heard those things. Not wanting to try on any more costumes, she cried and left as fast as she could, leaving a slimy trail of the things she had tried on behind her. Kelly was already in the street when she bumped into someone absorbing a cap and a pair of glasses. But to her surprise, no one seemed to be there until a low howl of pain reached her ears. Ouch! She looked down and saw some clothes moving on the floor. Of course, she thought, it's Invisible Mike. Invisible Mike took his cap and his glasses back as soon as Kelly thrust them out, still crying. Why are you so sad? What happened? Asked Invisible Mike. The other monsters keep laughing at me as I can't stop absorbing things, said Kelly, distressed. Invisible Mike nodded, as if he knew exactly what Kelly was going through. I know that feeling too. Everyone picks on me because I'm invisible. You aren't the only monster who has this problem, so don't give them bullies the satisfaction of seeing you cry. Hey, I've got an idea. Would you like going trick-or-treating with me? That's a wonderful idea, Mike. We won't need any costumes. We can just be ourselves. Kelly went home that evening happier than ever, as she had made a new friend. And for the first time in a while, she ignored the chants that her peers sang to them when leaving. Kelly the jelly, her brain full of gravely, Bobby the werewolf insisted. Invisible Mike, the chameleon-like, intoned Danny, the mummy. Later, when night came, Kelly and Mike met outside school to go trick-or-treating. It was dark, there was a full moon, and a storm was coming. It was a perfectly horrifying night to scare people for sweets. Mike had brought a bag for himself, and he also carried Kelly's basket so it wouldn't slide in her hands. That night, they had the most fun trick-or-treating around their neighborhoods. They knocked on every door, and everyone gave them sweets. Of course, who wouldn't be scared of a jelly monster and an invisible boy? They were terrifying, and they loved it.
But not everything could be so perfect. As they left the last house, a stupefying light filled the sky, and the thunder that sounded right after almost made their insides turn upside down. Not even a few seconds later, the rain started pouring on top of them. Kelly tried to cover herself, worried. "If I get soaked, I will melt," she cried, terrified. "Oh no, we have to get you under cover," answered Invisible Mike. He quickly took his cap off to cover Kelly's head as they found a board to stand under. The rain had touched them, but luckily Kelly was fine. As she calmed down, she realized that Mike's cap was on top of her head as he held it. "Mike, look," she said, pointing at it. "If you hold things around me, it looks like I'm wearing them." Mike gasped. "And you don't absorb them," he said. Kelly nodded, both of them very happy. Kelly took a few seconds to think, and smiled. This new discovery had opened up many possibilities for them. "Mike, I think I have an idea for that costume party," she said. It was the day of the Halloween costume party, and Kelly and Mike were extremely fatigued as they had been working the whole day on their costumes. They wanted to make sure their participation went down in history. At night, they carefully left together for the contest, hoping that nobody saw them or they wouldn't be able to make an impression. When they arrived, they waited backstage trying to keep it low-key. Meanwhile, the contest director, who as usual was the mayor of town, Joy the Gargoyle, kept announcing and welcoming on stage the other participants. Victor the Vampire received tons of applause. He wasn't wearing a costume, but he had prepared a little show. Artificial fog appeared on stage, and, in a blink of the eye, Victor was a bat. Danny the Mummy got dressed as a roll of toilet paper tangled in a plunger, and Bobby the Werewolf was barely recognized under his jack-o'-lantern costume. At last, their turn arrived. Kelly was trembling, and next to her, Mike couldn't stop biting his nails. Joy started to announce them. "Welcome on stage the Invisible Jelly team." The lights went off. Everyone was quiet. The only noise that could be heard was footsteps on the stage. Out of the blue, the lights turned on, and every single monster in the crowd mumbled in amazement. Kelly the Jelly was standing there with horns on her head and big black wings on her back. But the most surprising thing was that she was actually wearing them, without absorbing anything. No one had recovered from the surprise when a white silhouette appeared from behind Kelly's back, revealing who was holding her costume. With a cap over a wig of messy, curly red hair, his usual blue glasses, and with a lab coat, Invisible Mike was standing there looking like a crazy scientist. But the thing was that, because of all the accessories and the fact that he was covered in white paint, Invisible Mike was, in fact, visible. Thanks to Mike's help, Kelly was able to get dressed for the contest just like she wanted. And thanks to Kelly's idea, Mike fulfilled his wish to be seen for a day. It didn't matter if they won or lost the contest, because of all the fun that they had together, it was already the most horrifyingly amazing Halloween ever.